What's up, everybody? It's David Cutter here. Gonna do a top 10 horror list here. These movies are basically based on movies I watched growing up. Some of the earlier horror films I got into. Watching them on cable, dubbing them on VHS, renting them at the video store, and whatnot. But let's get started. This is the top. This is the 10th slot on my list. This is a Stephen King adaptation. This is a Silver Bullet. One of my favorite werewolf movies. It's got Corey Haim and Gary Busey in it. I remember watching this on cable a long time ago and dubbing it. I believe it came out in '87. There's a lot of memorable scenes in here. I thought the werewolf was scary. I know some people say that he looks like a bear, but I thought he was pretty scary. Most memorable scene. Thought it was funny. I mean, this isn't a funny movie at any means, but the beginning where the dude gets his head swiped off by the werewolf and they just show the dude's head flying in the air. So I thought that was funny. And another funny part of this movie is when I think the dude's name is James A. Bafico or whatever. He's from plays Willie in Dawn of the Dead. He comes out in this movie as well. Uh, he's like one of the town drunks, and he's sitting back having some beer, drinking some beers, and goes out to his greenhouse because he hears noise out there, and goes out there with like a single shot shotgun. He only has like one bullet in the shotgun. He shoots the ceiling, and the werewolf the comes from under the greenhouse and kills him. Thought that scene was pretty funny. Thought the scene where the Reverend has a nightmare and everybody becomes a werewolf. Thought that scene was pretty scary. But this is Stephen King's Silver Bullet. This is the top 10 movie for me. Top 10 horror movie. Number 10. And number 9 is Freakshow 2. One of my favorite anthologies. Remember watching this in Halloween time back in the days. Remember seeing the cartoon sequences between the stories. Thought that was pretty cool. I believe the first I had seen was the third story actually, The Hitchhiker. I remember sitting down and watching that on Halloween back in the days, and thought it was pretty creepy. But it's one of my favorite anthologies. I think it's better than part one. I mean, you got two horror icons behind this, Stephen King and George A. Romero. What's not to like about it? I mean, three great horror stories. Um, one of my favorite anthologies of all time. This is Creepshow 2, number 9 slot. By the way, my favorite story off of this is Oh Chief Woodenhead. My favorite story on this, but this is Creepshow 2. And unfortunately, I don't know number 8, and that is Terror in the Isles. It's actually a horror documentary. Donald Pleasance is the narrator in the movie, in the documentary, and they're like in a theater with some movie patrons, and they're just showing different clips, different movies. I believe they're showing Halloween on the screen. They're showing Halloween. They're watching Halloween in the theater, but they're showing like just different clips of all the great horror movies. Jaws, American Werewolf in London, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Psycho, just different scenes, different movies. Uh, I believe it's only available on the Halloween 2 special edition. I think it's like the 30th anniversary or something. I know it's on the Halloween 2 Blu-ray. It's one of the special features. So I guess that's the only way I'm gonna get that movie. But that's my number 8 slot, Terror in the Isles. If you guys haven't seen Terror in the Isles, you might want to check it out, man. I mean, that's like one of the greatest horror documentaries in my opinion. And then we got number 7 slot here is Mother's Day. This is my favorite trauma film. This is the original cut. Um, thought Queenie was pretty creepy at the end when she jumped out of the bushes. Thought the mother was crazy as hell. Ike and Adley, fucking, they're just psychos. So this is a good movie. This is a kind of like a rape and revenge kind of horror movie. I believe this was I believe this was made just before they made Friday the 13th. I could be wrong. That's what I thought I read in the behind the scenes. They're talking about it on this movie, I believe. They're saying it came out just before Friday the 13th. But this is a classic. This is one of my favorites. This is Mother's Day, the original. I have the number 7 slot. Number 6 slot here is Vamp. This is one of my favorite vampire movies. Came out sometime in the 80s. Um, got Robert Russell from Weird Science. It's got the Asian dude from 16 Candles. And it's got Grace Jones. I thought she played a good vampire in this movie. Did a good part in this movie. It's got some comedy elements to it, but I still think it's a scary vampire movie. Friday Night is good too, but I wanted to put this one in my top 10 list. Um, it's a pretty cool movie. This is a vamp. I like the scene where they're like two different factions of vampires, and the kid jumps on the other vampire's arm and he's like swinging them around. And I don't know. This is a great vampire movie. This is the Midnight Madness series of Vamp. Number 6 slot. And the number 5 slot is the original Night of the Demons. I always watch this movie around Halloween time nowadays. This is the uncut, unrated version. Um, Angela, I mean, she's like the creepiest demon ever. I mean, I like Demons 1 and 2, but I prefer this one over those demon movies. This is Night of the Demons. Um, this is the best one out of the series. I got part 2 and 3 too, but this is my favorite one. Got Linnea Quigley in there, one of the scream queens of the 80s. And it's a pretty good horror movie. I like it a lot. Creepy ass demons in it too. The original Night of Demons. And my number 4 slot, Dawn of the Dead, the original. When it comes to zombie movies, this is the cream of the crop right here, man. This is like the best zombie movie ever, in my opinion. Uh, everybody knows about this movie. It's the one where they go in the mall and got bikers in there and stuff. They actually used a real biker gang in there, which is the Pagans. It's got Ken Faree, another great horror icon. Of course, George Romero's behind this movie, but this is Dawn of the Dead, the original, on the 4 slot. My number 3 slot here is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Really like this one a lot. Remember seeing this one. I know I keep saying it, but for some reason I was always watching horror movies around Halloween time, and of course the Silver Shamrock song would come on. You know, the mask in this movie and everything. Those masks are just awesome. But this is my favorite Halloween movie out of the franchise. I know Michael Myers is not in it, and it really doesn't tie into the other stories, but I don't know, for some reason this is my favorite one. This is Halloween 3, another one of the earlier horror films that I've seen growing up. Yeah, I know I need to get that Shout Factory edition. This is just a bare bones edition of Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. That's my number 3 slot. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. We're down to the final 2. Number 2 is I'm gonna have to go with Phantasm. This movie is great. I like this movie a lot. Most memorable scene, is in the part where they're in a mortuary cemetery, and the spirit gets that guy and goes in the guy's forehead, and blood just starts splattering out. I thought the dwarfs were pretty creepy. And the tall man, in my opinion, he's another great horror icon. He needs to be thrown in there with the other great horror icons. I mean, I don't know, just a creepy dude, man. Just strong as hell. Determined, determined to get a hold of Michael, Michael Baldwin, I believe is his name. Could be wrong. Anyway, he's determined to get a hold of that kid in the series. Um, this is my favorite one. I don't really care for part 2, 3, and 4 are pretty good, but this is Phantasm. Great horror movie, great music. Hope this movie never gets remade, man, because they're messing up all these movies with these remakes nowadays. So that's the number 2 spot, Phantasm. And then the number 1 in my top 10 horror list is none other than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I believe Gunnar Hansen was the best Leatherface ever. You know, part 2 was good too, and then it just seems like after part 2, the series just went downhill. I mean, part 3 is good. I don't care for the next generation at all. I own it. I've never even watched that movie. But the other ones after it were alright, but nothing's ever gonna top the first movie. I remember renting this movie a lot back in the days from Hollywood Video. I was renting this movie, one of the earlier horror movies. This is like one of the first DVDs I bought. It wasn't this steelbook, but it was the one with the black cover. It was just like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the special edition. But yeah, this movie just seems so realistic. You know, the kill scenes, the music, everything. This movie is just, I don't know, man. This is just like greatest horror movie in my opinion. Um, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's my number 1 slot for my top 10 horror list. And that's it for now, guys. That's my top 10 horror list of all time. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And peace out till next time.